Welcome, everybody, to another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at assumptions and obedience from, a little bit of a different angle.
Interesting.
We've got this source called Koken, Liske, and that translates to Assumptions and Obedience, Cooking Thoughts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Cooking Thoughts is written by this person named Bible is Life, and they've been thinking about this idea of assumptions and obedience and how that all relates to a Christian worldview.
Oh, that's interesting. So, how do those things work together? Assumptions and obedience. And cooking.
Well, that's what's so cool about this source is they use this, cooking metaphor to kind of break it down,
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this cooking metaphor.
Okay, so, imagine you're cooking something, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And, you got to control the heat.
Right. Don't want to burn anything.
Exactly. So the author compares managing assumptions and obedience to, controlling the heat in the kitchen.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Too much heat, right?
Yeah.
Too strong of assumptions, too rigid.
Yeah, I get that.
Can lead to harshness.
Ooh. Okay.
Like overcooked meat,
Oof, yeah, nobody likes that.
But on the other hand, if you have too little heat, so that's like a lack of obedience in this metaphor.
Makes sense.
That results in, underdevelopment.
Okay.
So it's like eating something raw.
Ooh. Yeah, not good either.
Well, not good. Not ideal. So it's all about finding that balance.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like the Goldilocks zone of cooking.
Exactly. Just the right amount of heat.
Right.
And they compare this to, slow cooking a Cantonese soup.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
It takes time,
Yeah.
Just the right amount of heat to, really bring out all those flavors.
And that's like our spiritual lives, right?
Yeah.
We need that balance of our own beliefs, but also that openness to God's will.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like holding on to our faith.
Which is, so much of our faith is built on what we assume is true.
Yeah, totally. While also being open to, God's guidance, which requires obedience.
It's that delicate dance.
Absolutely. And the author, they talk about assumptions as just being this natural part of life.
Oh, absolutely. We all make them all the time.
You can't really avoid them, right?
Yeah.
They give these examples, judging others based on appearances.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
Parental expectations.
Right. That can be a big one.
Or even those childhood dreams we, cling to.
That's so true.
But then they warn us, right?
Oh, yeah.
About unchecked assumptions.
They can be dangerous.
They can.
Lead to misunderstandings, maybe some prejudice, even conflicts,
Yeah.
right?
It's like adding too much spice to a dish.
Oh, yeah.
It overpowers everything else.
Nobody wants that.
No, not at all. So then, how do we deal with that, right?
Yeah, that's the big question.
If assumptions are so tricky,
What's the antidote?
that's where obedience comes in.
Right. Makes sense.
But I gotta be honest. I'm a little confused about these deep-fried sweet potato balls.
Oh, yeah. That's a fun part of the book.
Can you walk me through that?
So the author was talking about their own personal struggle with obedience, right? Sometimes it just felt like going through the motions without any real internal change happening.
I could see that.
And they compared that to making deep fried sweet potato balls.
Okay.
You know how you gotta apply pressure to them to get that crispy texture?
Yeah, I've seen that.
You have to release the air bubbles, right?
Right.
And it's that pressure that actually creates that outcome that you want.
So they're saying we kind of need that pressure in our lives too.
Exactly. And a lot of times that pressure comes from obeying God's will.
Even when it's tough.
Even when it's tough.
It refines us.
It does. It's like those sweet potato balls getting crispier and crispier.
And they talk about Jesus.
Right.
As the ultimate example of this kind of obedience. They even pull in that Bible verse, Philippians 2:6-8.
That's a good one.
About Jesus's humility and obedience despite, being divine.
That's powerful.
Really powerful. So, what does all of that radical obedience mean for us? In our everyday lives?
I think that's the key question, right? How do we apply this?
Yeah, where do we see assumptions getting in the way of love?
Mm-hmm.
Especially, as Christians.
Well, the author suggests that we should try to align our assumptions with Jesus' teachings.
Okay.
So instead of having these, fiery, destructive assumptions, we can try to embrace Christ's love,
Yeah.
And that should lead us to a more humble and accepting view of ourselves and other people.
It's like choosing good ingredients, right?
Exactly. If we start with love and compassion, the end result is going to be so much better.
So it's not about seeing obedience as this restrictive thing.
No, not at all.
It's more about seeing it as a path to like becoming more like Christ.
Exactly. It's a journey, you know?
Right.
It's transformation. And it helps us really understand our faith better.
We all have assumptions.
You do.
But it's about how we manage them.
Yeah.
And through obedience to God, we can hopefully live a more fulfilling life.
I think that's the goal, right?
I think so too. You know, for everyone listening out there, I want to leave you with this. Think about one area in your life. Could be at work, could be in your relationships.
Yeah.
Where you tend to make assumptions. How can you use these ideas to maybe shift your perspective a little bit?
Yeah, good question.
And approach those situations with a little more humility, a little more love.
Beautiful.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was a good one.
See you next time.
Bye.